Ladies and gentlemen, we got a new video to watch. Like, subscribe, comment, do all this stuff. Fuck me. The more I stay away from politics, the more it tends to find me. Apparently, we're watching a Water CS2 video Trump just signed an order that can save Steam. So, let's find out.
Just signed a new executive order, and it could be the biggest news for gamers you haven't heard yet. Games are being censored, not by Steam though,
Yep.
but by the banks that handle the money. This new executive order is the first legal step in stopping this. Recently, if you haven't heard, some games were removed from the Steam store, but this wasn't
Right.
because of a bug.
And I just did a video. It'll be literally I'll link it. Um well, I'll put it at the end of this video, but I just did a video on Snowbreak, which is a gooner shooter game, right? It's targeted adults, all right? It's a gotcha game for adults, and I can't fucking enjoy it. I can't enjoy it. I'm 96 minutes in, and I can't enjoy the fucking game because all I'm looking at is a bunch of fucking clouds and censorship bullshit around all the fucking gooner shit that is part of the fucking game itself. Like it's like a dating sim slash fucking shooter game, essentially, is what it comes down to, right? So I find it so annoying that I can't simply enjoy a game that is not doing anything illegal. It is simply marketing towards its target audience, and I have to sit there and play fucking twiddle my fucking dick with these goddamn morally corrupt piece of shit fucking credit card companies or fucking debit card companies, fucking Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, fucking all of them. Fuck them. Fuck them all. All right. You know how many illegal transactions probably go through their servers every fucking day? I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear shit about being on the fucking morally right side of things or being on the fucking um the brand image preserving sort of things. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to hear it, dude. Just because your fucking dirt isn't public yet doesn't mean that we don't know you're scum. You're all fucking scum. Fuck you. It's so bullshit, man. It's so bullshit. They did this shit to Japan already. All right, and they've tried to do it in the US before. This isn't the first time.
Or a developer's choice. Instead, it happened because a big payment company like MasterCard decided that a few games were a reputational risk. This is a
Yep.
vague rule that lets them pressure a company like Steam to remove any games they don't like. As a result, the banks that handle the money for Steam got involved, creating a chain of pressure that led to the games actually being removed. This is a big deal because it shows that a third-party company that handles the money, not the government or
And another thing, the one thing that really pushed this along was the efforts of Collective Shout, which, if you want to be an activist group, fine. But pushing for this level of censorship outside of your own country, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. All right. I don't give a fuck what you do in Australia. That's your own fucking thing. I don't give a fuck. But don't bring that shit here. Nope. This is America, bitch. Oh, I'll do what the fuck I want to do. And you're not about to tell me what to do. So fuck you.
Steam itself is now deciding what we can and can't buy. This kind of
Facts.
power is a form of digital censorship, and is especially concerning since a new rule was recently added to Steam's guidelines that gives them the power to remove content that
Yep.
may violate the rules.
And there's nothing against Steam here. I've said this in previous videos. Nothing against Steam here. They have to capitulate. They don't have an option unless there's another payment processor that comes up and says, "Hey, fuck it. If they don't want this massive amount of income that you guys provide, fucking we'll take it." Shit, if I was an up and coming payment processor, I'd be like, I bet we'll become the exclusive payment processor for Steam. Shit, I would. Fucking A. I would say, you know what? Delete that 15th rule. As long as it ain't illegal, we're with you, Steam. That's the same thing. This is why the UFC is so fucking successful. Is because Dana White only takes sponsors, only takes people as part of deals that align with him in the way that he thinks about the world, right? And due to that fact, the UFC is almost impenetrable, right? You're not gonna fucking tell the UFC what to do. They will instantly delete you and then replace you with somebody else who is going along with the same path they are. That's what makes them so good. And an example of this is Peloton. Peloton was harassing a comedian, Theo Vaughn, about some fucking guest that he had on his show. And Peloton fucking had a political agenda against him or something like that. And they were mad. So they were essentially threatening Theo Vaughn for pulling the sponsor because he had a guest or whatever, unless he took down the video, right? Dana White heard about this while they were talking on his podcast, and Dana White, during the podcast, says, "Take all the Pelotons out of the UFC gym. Throw them out. Fuck them." That is the kind of attitude that everybody needs to take with anybody who tries to pull this bullshit. Anybody who's trying to make you capitulate by blackmail, by fucking um, a loss of financial income, any sort of leveraging against you, absolutely fuck them. Now, I'm sure Steam is looking into this. I'm sure they're looking into other payment options to essentially remove Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal from their. And honestly, this is what I don't get. PayPal, or not PayPal, MasterCard and Visa have been known to work together on several things. If I was MasterCard, Visa is my top competitor. So I'm waiting for them to make a move like this. And if I'm MasterCard, I'm saying, you know what? Fuck Visa. If I'm MasterCard, I'm waiting for this moment to pounce, to destroy Visa and absolutely pull like a monster did with Bang, and where Monster essentially sued Bang into the ground and then bought Bang out. If I'm MasterCard, that's what I'm gonna do to Visa. I'm waiting for them to do a shit like this, and I'm gonna get the whole public fucking spectrum on my side, and then fucking run Visa into the ground, and then I'm gonna buy them out. It's guerrilla fucking warfare tactics, just fucking absolutely cut them off at the legs. That's what I would do. I'm not here to make competition. I'm here to fucking win this bitch. Like, fuck that. So I don't understand why they work together. I don't. I don't. If I'm Visa, I'm trying to do the same thing to MasterCard. Fuck them.
And standards set forth by our payment processors. The thing is, the Steam situation is just one example of a much bigger problem. It's part of a growing trend of these payment companies censoring or even debanking anything they don't like.
Yes, this has happened several occasions. Twice in the US that I know of, and one time in Japan. To the point where Japanese parliament is now being involved with the Visa MasterCard side of things.
Debanking is when banks or payment companies close accounts or refuse to work with people and businesses for reasons that aren't actually about money. The censorship
Which I do not think they should be allowed to do this. I do think they should be allowed to debank people, right? Because the banks have to have some form of protection from people who are trying to illegally do things that could harm the bank in a financial way, right? So they do need to have some sort of protections there. But for something that is not finance related, that is not a net loss of income or some sort of like feasible like material like issue, then there's no reason that they should be allowed to make a decision on the behalf of people that they are not involved with at all. And I'm talking like the whole customer base. Like everybody who has a Visa MasterCard should not have to worry about not being able to buy a fucking Monster energy drink because fucking monsters said put out some PR thing that Visa didn't like, you know?
we're seeing on platforms like Steam is very similar to how banks debank people. The payment processors are
Right.
essentially saying, if you don't remove this content, we will stop doing business with you, which
Yep.
means you can't get paid. This is a direct financial threat. It's what itch.io stated when they said they had to act urgently to protect the platform's core payment infrastructure. And
Yep.
also when Valve said if they didn't remove the games, it would prevent customers from buying games and content across Steam. The White House announcement calls this politicized or unlawful debanking and highlights how some financial institutions have restricted
Wait, the White House is involved? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Section 3 definitions: the term politicized or unlawful debanking refers to an act by a bank, savings association, credit union, or other financial services provider to directly or indirectly adversely restrict access to or adversely modify the conditions of accounts, loans, or other banking products or financial services of any customer or potential customer on the basis of the customer's or potential customers' political or religious beliefs, or on the basis of the customer's potential customer lawful business activities that the financial service provider disagrees with. So this part here, the customer's political or religious beliefs, isn't really like, that's pretty common sense stuff. But the more important part is the customer's lawful business activities. That's the most important part of this. Customers' lawful business activities, of which everything that has been censored, deplatformed right now, which is includes everything. All of this falls under this category that the financial service provider disagrees with or disfavors for political reasons. I'm just saying, you could be a fucking no name nobody with a lawyer and you could sue Visa and MasterCard right now and you'd win based off of this Section 3 definition. Section 3A automatically wins you a lawsuit against them. Automatically. You simply just bring up the games, you bring up what has been taken down, you bring up Japan, and it's an automatic win. There's nothing that they can say that could possibly win against this because this is from the White House. The White House. This is from a federal level, and you're not going to go against the government ever. It's not going to work.
access to services on the basis of political or religious beliefs or lawful business activities. So this isn't just about video games. Something similar has happened to cryptocurrency companies, legal gun
Right.
stores, and even anime stores. The White House
Yep.
announcement points to other examples as well, such as when federal regulators suggested banks flag individuals who made transactions related to companies like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It only starts with these fucking games that have very, morally questionable themes, right? It only starts there. Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop, those are typically, if you wanted to classify them, they would be a more like right wing staple, outdoorsy, fucking blue collar, fucking type of place, right? So the fact that a place like this is already starting to be censored via payment processors, via banks, I'm telling you, it is not that far fetched to see that your favorite energy drink can no longer be purchased. It is not that far fetched to see that, oh, Coca Cola put out a bad PR. So Visa no longer supports them for the next fucking 6 months. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand? American Eagle, perfect example right now with the Sydney Sweeney ad. If Visa doesn't like it, Visa's going to say you can no longer purchase American Eagle through us. You see why this becomes a problem.
who made transactions related to companies like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop. These payment networks are essentially the roads of the digital economy. By controlling these roads, these companies can stop anyone they disagree with from doing business, even if they haven't broken any real laws. So, to fight back against this, President Trump has signed a new executive order called Guaranteeing Fair Banking for All Americans.
Oh shit.
This is a direct response to what the president's office calls systemic abuses by financial institutions.
See, I didn't even think about that because Trump very much now I did not read into this, but I do know that he was very much abused by the banking process due to his whether it was his fucking controversy stuff going on. I don't fucking know. I haven't fucking looked into any of this shit. I don't care. Um but I do know because there was headlines all over the place, fucking right, left, fucking whatever. Um, there's headlines all over the place with these banks taking out their political views on Trump. So this was always coming. It wasn't a matter of, you know, if, it was a matter of when this was coming. And it couldn't have shown up at a better fucking time. Right when Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal decide to overreach is the one time that Trump just times it on point and says, guess what? You're cooked.
That undermine free expression and economic opportunity.
Free expression. Free expression. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
This new rule tells federal groups that watch over banks to stop using vague reasons like reputational risk in their guidance and manuals. The order is specific, stating that regulators must remove the use of reputational risk or equivalent concepts that could result in politicized or unlawful debanking. From now on, banks must make their decisions based on clear financial reasons. The order also directs federal
Yep.
banking regulators to review banks for
Yep. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. They can't argue that those games are posing a financial risk because they're a net positive. N- They're literally a net positive. They aren't losing money on any of these games. They're not losing money on Snowbreak. Actually, they're making probably thousands of dollars off Snowbreak. Every time somebody whales in that game, they're getting a big fucking cut. So, and that's just one example. Now, like maybe these like little fucking slop AI fucking morally corrupt themed games. Sure. Sure. You might be able to argue that they don't make enough financially for there to be a reason to keep them active on the platform. But then again, that is not their decision to make because that income that those games generate is all tied into the income that Steam delivers to Visa, which is overwhelmingly a positive. MasterCard, PayPal, all that shit. So they cannot argue from a financial standpoint that Steam is costing them money by having those games on the platform, which means if this goes through, instantly, instant lawsuit. Steam wins. Visa, MasterCard now has to capitulate on a governmental level because fuck you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Fuck them.
any past or current policies that
We take
encourage
W's all day.
politicized or
We
unlawful
just keep
debanking
winning.
and to take action, including charging a fine. The ultimate goal of this
That's the saying, right? Is the can't get tired of winning or can't, what's the fucking stupid saying right now? Um, we can't stop winning or something like that. Is that the whole fucking Trump fucking righty conservative thing? I don't know.
Disorder, as stated by the
Something to
White
do with
House,
winning.
is to
That's all
ensure
I know.
that no American should be denied access to financial services because of their beliefs, affiliations, or political views. This is meant to prevent any financial unfair treatment and give fair access to banking for all legal businesses and people. So, how does this new order connect directly to our problem on Steam? This is where the details of how payments work become really important. As Valve
Okay.
confirmed in their response, MasterCard didn't go directly to Valve and tell them to remove the games. MasterCard communicated with acquiring banks. These are the banks that handle the money for businesses like Steam. MasterCard cited one of its rules, Rule 5.12.7, which says that a business can't process transactions that may damage the goodwill of the corporation or reflect negatively on the marks. It's important to know that Visa has a very similar rule, just showing how this is a widespread issue across the payment industry. This is a perfect example of a vague reputational risk clause. MasterCard didn't have to prove the games were illegal, just that they were a risk.
Yep. And now, with that executive order, it is overruled because there's only one law that matters, and that's the federal law, because that law is a law that needs to be followed from border to border. If you live in California, you're learning that the hard way.
To their brand. This was in response to a small number of complaints from the activist group Collective Show. The acquiring banks, fearing that they would lose their partnership with a major payment network, then pressured Valve to remove the games. Valve complied, which is why they weren't fully debanked. So the executive order aims to stop this by forcing financial institutions to justify their decisions based on individual, objective, and risk-based analysis. The key difference is simple.
Yep.
Risk-based analysis is about measurable financial threats. Reputational risk is about feelings and public opinion. The new executive order is designed to stop financial companies from using the second one as an excuse to shut down legal businesses. This could protect game developers from being unfairly censored. So, what can we expect now? While this executive order is a major step, it has its limitations. Some might argue that it doesn't mean much because it can't directly regulate companies like MasterCard or Visa. However, the executive order does create a powerful incentive for banks to stop caving to this type of pressure. If an acquiring bank knows that it could be fined by a federal regulator for acting on a reputational risk concern, it's far less likely to do so. This could make the vague rules of payment processors effectively powerless. According to Valve's newest statement, they were pressured by these banks, citing MasterCard's rule. So while Valve wasn't formally debanked, they were put in a position where they had to choose between censorship and a massive financial threat. This is the exact thing this executive order is trying to stop. Looking forward
Yep.
though, this executive order could pave the way for more changes. We could see new legislation like the Fair Access to Banking Act gain momentum in Congress.
Massive
This act,
W.
which has seen bipartisan support, aims to prevent banks from using subjective, non-financial standards when
Yep.
deciding who to do business with. A new law would have.
Yeah, you have to force these things to essentially act as a utility, right? It's no different than your water or your power, right? The electric company can't just show up at your house because you put out a fucking tweet they don't like and shut your electricity off. That's not how it fucking works, right? They have to remain consistent. They have to essentially remain unattached completely until you are no longer providing payment, of which now, at a financial standpoint, that's where they are allowed to protect themselves, right? And that's essentially what this law creates. Um, this law creates banks and card networks to essentially become utilities. Like, you essentially have to now allow these payments to go through, whether you agree or disagree with them. You are not allowed to be involved until which that platform, this in this case it would be Steam, starts causing you financial problems of which you are then legally allowed to protect yourself from, which would never happen because Steam makes so much fucking money for them, it's ridiculous. Granted, it's like a drop in the amount of payments that they probably process, but it is still a shit ton.
way more power than an executive order. It could directly and legally stop payment networks from denying service based on a business's legal activities or political views. The details of the bill are designed to force this change. For example, it would prevent banks from making decisions based on unfair and random standards, a legal
Yep.
way of saying a decision made without a good, clear reason. The bill
Yep.
requires banks to have a written, documented report showing a risk based analysis for all decisions. This means
Yep.
they would have to back up their choices with clear, factual information, not vague concerns about their brand. This would be a more permanent solution, like treating these payment companies as essential services.
Yep. What did I just say?
So, if the pressure from payment processors start to disappear, the new rule on Steam would become unnecessary and could pave the way for a return to a more hands-off content policy.
Yep. The minute that this executive order becomes reality, if I'm Valve, I'm going in and I'm deleting 15.
On the platform. So, although the fight to stop censoring games is not over yet, there are some signs it might not last forever.
Nope. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep calling. Keep emailing. Everything. Well, actually, don't even email. Do not email because you're just going to get an automatic fucking bullshit bot response. So call them. Call them every single day, every fucking hour, every fucking 30 minutes. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Call them over and over again. And then when they're sick and tired of you, call them again. Fucking set up one of those like third world fucking, group chat fucking like Wi-Fi phone fucking account things that you can usually set up for free and then call them again. All right. Keep changing the number and call again. Yep. Never relent. Never relent. I freaking love these videos, man. I like the fact that we actually, as a consumer, are starting to wake up and change things the way that they need to change things. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. That's gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna keep up the tabs and all this stuff, and if there's anything more exciting, this type of stuff, I will be on it, on there like swimwear. Yeah, I'm out.